Hello everybody and welcome back to another Destiny 2 video. Today we'll be taking a look at all of the weapons you can get from the Sundered Doctrine dungeon, examining their perks, and breaking down what you should be looking for when you're running this activity. The dungeon only has 4 weapons dropping, but all 4 are absolutely incredible weapons and I'm excited to review them with you guys. Actually, all the weapons but one are really good. I'll get to that one down the line. But first, I wanted to go over some ground rules before we jumped into the perks and their breakdowns. Firstly, I am a PvE player more than a PvP player, so all of the perk breakdowns I'm going to be giving you guys are going to be geared towards PvE play, not PvP play. There are plenty of other YouTubers doing PvP reviews for weapons, and I'll be honest, I'm really not that great of a PvP player, so I'll defer to them for the PvP rules for these guns. And of course guys, these are just my opinions on what to look out for when you run the new dungeon, but I would love to hear what kind of perk combinations you guys are looking for in the comments below. All that being said, let's get into our first weapon. Kicking us off, we have the Unsworn, which is our second strand legendary trace rifle. Everybody has their own feelings about trace rifles in the current sandbox, but no matter how you feel, this trace rifle is shaping up to be one of the best, if not the best, legendary trace rifle in the game that you can get. But before we jump into the perks, I did want to touch base on the origin trait that can be found on all of these new dungeon weapons. All of these dungeon weapons come with the origin trait Subjugation, which reads, weapon adapts to targets when dealing damage. To weak targets, shots explode. To strong targets, targets become exhausted. To guardians, the weapon's flinch resistance increases. Exhausted targets deal reduced outgoing damage. This is one of the coolest origin traits I have seen, and it makes these dungeon weapons even better. For Unsworn though, let's take a look at those third column perks first. Keep in mind that trace rifles are essentially supposed to be special ammo ad clearers. That being said, there is one perk combination that I think challenges this, but I'll get to that in just a second. Taking a look at those third column perks, I would be on the lookout for perks like Stats for All or Rewind Rounds or Subsistence. Now, what to pair with these third column perks when you're looking at the fourth column is really important in this case. For example, if I was going to get a roll with Stats for All or Subsistence, I would absolutely be looking for something like Hatchling or Killing Tally in that fourth column. But the role that I'm looking for and the role that I'm excited to get has got to be Rewind Rounds and the new perk that dropped this season, Detonator Beam. This perk combination loops and synergizes with itself and plays beautifully with the weapon's origin trait. Detonator Beam reads, dealing sustained damage creates an explosion around the target, and Rewind Rounds is going to help you keep that sustained damage on target. Both of these perks pair beautifully with the Subjugation origin trait. Against weak targets, these trace rifle shots are going to explode, and against strong targets, they're going to become exhausted and deal less damage to you. All of that is happening as Rewind Rounds is refunneling ammo to the mag, and Detonator Beam is causing targets to explode. That being said though guys, you still can't go wrong with perks like Stats for All or Subsistence in that third column, paired with either Killing Tally or Hatchling. I think any combination of those 6 perks are going to do you just fine on this trace rifle. But again guys, something like Rewind Rounds and Detonator Beam has got to be one of, if not the best, perk combination weapons to drop from this dungeon. Moving on, we have the Unworthy, which is an arc rapid fire frame scout rifle. I'm not a massive scout rifle guy, but I do like a good rapid fire frame, and luckily this one has some really interesting perk combinations to keep me interested. Taking a look at that third column, I would be looking for things like Rapid Hit or Firefly, Keep Away, or Rewind Rounds. All of these perks are pretty self-explanatory, but to see a perk like Firefly drop on an arc rapid fire frame scout rifle is really interesting. To pair with any of these 4 perks, I'm going to be looking out for either Rolling Storm, Frenzy, Paracausal Affinity, or Volt Shot. Rolling Storm and Volt Shot have got to be among the top perks in this column. The arc synergy is just too good, and both Jolt and Bolt Charge are just so incredibly strong in the meta right now. Frenzy and Paracausal Affinity are okay. I would definitely prefer Volt Shot or Rolling Storm to these 2 perks, but if I got it to drop with these, I also wouldn't be upset. The main perk combinations I am looking for this weapon has got to be Firefly with either Volt Shot or Rolling Storm in that fourth column. Firefly is going to boost your reload speed to help out Volt Shot with its reload proccing perk, and then Rolling Storm is just a great perk in general, and I would just love to have it on this scout rifle. That being said, there are so many good perk combinations for this scout rifle. Honestly, it'll really come down to preference on what you're looking for, or if you even like scout rifles. Personally, I'm not the biggest fan, but rapid fire frames have got to be my favorite among scout rifles. They're just really fun and satisfying to shoot. Next on our list is Unvoiced, which is our new Void pinpoint slug frame shotgun. And I'll be honest guys, I think this is the worst weapon to come dropping out of this dungeon. With that in mind, I'm going to go through this weapon pretty quick, but the reason that I don't like this shotgun pretty much is because Nessa's Oblation exists, and I think it has better perks than the Unvoiced. All that said, I don't think Unvoiced is a bad shotgun, and if you don't have Nessa's Oblation, it's still going to do you just fine. I think what people are really looking for this shotgun is the Lone Wolf closing time combination for PvP purposes. But like I said at the beginning of this video, I am not a PvP guy, I am definitely a PvE guy. But let's quickly take a look at this shotgun and see if we can't find any perks that work in PvE. And I'll be honest guys, the only perk I am looking for in that third column is going to be destabilizing rounds. I've said it before and I'll say it again, I really am not a fan of special and heavy weapons that I have to manually reload myself. And while Envious Arsenal is on this shotgun, I really don't like Envious Arsenal on special weapons because I'm really not switching to a heavy weapon to do a single point of damage just to reload my slug frame shotgun. So destabilizing rounds and maybe fourth time's the charm are the only perks I'd be looking for in that third column. In that fourth column, you do have the new perk Demoralize. My problem with it is that I would really prefer it to be on a primary weapon, not a special weapon. And that goes double for destabilizing rounds. The Void Synergy is great, but again, I'm really not using a slug shotgun to clear out rooms of people. To pair with fourth time's the charm, you could go something like Bait and Switch, or Vorpal Weapon, or Frenzy, or Elemental Honing. But I'll be honest guys, when is the last time you have thought to yourself to break out the slug shotgun for damage? All that to say, if you're looking for any sort of perks on this shotgun, I would recommend Destabilizing Round and Demoralize, or fourth time's the charm and Vorpal. But again, and I cannot stress this enough, Nessa's Ablation exists, and I would take this shotgun over Unvoiced 9 out of 10 times. So for me, this shotgun is an auto dismantle, but you guys let me know what you're looking for in these columns, because honestly, I couldn't really care about the shotgun. The last weapon coming to us from Sundered Doctrine is the Unloved Strand Heavy Burst Hand Cannon. I'm pretty excited to see this hand cannon drop for me as A, we really don't have that many other strand hand cannons, and B, Heavy Burst hand cannons are among the best hand cannons in the PvE sandbox, and this one has some really good perks to back that up. Starting in that third column, the 3 perks that I'm going to be looking for and recommending has got to be Hatchling, Dragonfly, or Outlaw. In that fourth column, I'm going to be looking for something like Paracausal Affinity, or Tear, or Frenzy, but only Frenzy if I'm pairing it with Dragonfly. Honestly, it can be broken down into 2 different kinds of rolls that I'd be looking for this weapon. For that first set of rolls, I'm either looking for Hatchling or Outlaw in that third column, paired with Paracausal Affinity or Tear in that fourth column. I think this hand cannon gives a lot of build potential for strand synergy, and I love to see Tear on a hand cannon. But like I mentioned earlier, Frenzy paired with Dragonfly also wouldn't be a bad shout. Again, I love not thinking about my perks mid-gunfight, and just being rewarded for playing the game is awesome. And Frenzy giving 100 reload and 100 handling is just too good to pass up for these heavy burst hand cannons, which do tend to be on the slower side of handling and reload. Pairing that with Dragonfly for precision hit explosions, and this weapon should be really solid. That being said, I really don't think you can go wrong with any of these 6 perks on this hand cannon. Personally, I am super excited to run with either Outlaw or Hatchling in that third column with Tear in the fourth, but that's just the role I'm looking for. I would love to hear what you guys are looking for on this hand cannon down in the comments. Well, there you go. That sums up my weapon and perk combinations for the Sundered Doctrine dungeon. Let me know what kind of perks and weapons you guys are trying to farm for in the comments down below. And thanks again so much for watching this video guys, it really does mean a lot to me. On top of those weapon choices, if you guys have any feedback on my content or content that I should be making in the future, please put it down in the comments as I really do read over those and respond to a lot of them. But thank you guys so much for watching, I will see you in the next video.